Okay, we are on the home stretch. So did anybody have a chance to look at the CPM? So here's what we're going to do. I want to reiterate, and I'm doing it for a reason, folks. Some of these tools, or most of these are the only new things I'm going to introduce to you. There are a number of new tools that David introduced. The EFE, CPM, IFE, and then there are some other things that we'll introduce about week 6 or 7 called the space matrix, IE matrix. So the grand strategy matrix. So there are a couple of new tools we'll introduce to you. But all the other stuff, marketing concepts of integration and product development and all of those are things you need to refresh your memory. So it's important for you to read ahead to benefit from the interaction. Because if you didn't look at the EFE at all, or if you didn't look at the CPM at all, I bet you're there struggling. What did he just say? Right? If you look at it, it is making sense to you. And time does not allow for me to go over these things in detail in tutorials if you want something clarified. So I'm urging you from next week, if you did not believe what I said, read ahead the various subject areas or the tools or strategies we're going to introduce. So next week, I'm telling you up front, we're going to do the EFE, the Internal Factor Evaluation Matrix. So please spend some time reading up on it so you have some basic understanding of it. So the CPM structure is similar to the EFE. This is the last thing we'll deal with today. So it looks at major competitors and also some strengths and weaknesses. So it differs in a bit that instead of looking at opportunities and threats or strengths and weaknesses, the CPM looks at critical success factors. Right? It looks at critical success factors. The IFE, the Internal Factor Evaluation Matrix, will look at internal factors which will be the strengths and weaknesses of the internal environment. So Russell, you looked at the CPM? So you're one of these students that would not listen to you last week? Okay, well you're forgiven. So any person who was here last week should have read this stuff because I said it last week. Now, in the EFE, our ratings measured a 4 was superior response, a 3 was above average, a 2 was average, and a 1 was a weak response. For the CPM now, you realize the terminology for the ratings is different. And it is paradoxical, and students get it mixed up. What's your name? P-Mark. But I know P-Mark's going to get it. A 4 is a major strength, a 3, a minor strength, a 2, a minor weakness, and a 1, a major weakness. So sometimes the brain tricks you, and you might think 4 might be the major. When you think major, you're thinking high numbers. But in this rating system, you need to be able to distinguish the EFE, IFE, and CPM ratings because they can get you mixed up sometimes. So if there's a rating of 4, as we said, major strength, 3 minor strength, 2 minor weakness, and a 1 is a major weakness. So it does not go in a sequential order down like happened in the EFE. So the EFE went from very good to very bad. This does not go from very good to bad automatically. It's that little paradoxical language sometimes that would get students kind of confused. So let's look at the competitive profile matrix. For 3 companies, Gateway, Apple, and Dell, So you see, we have critical success factors. We don't have strengths and weaknesses. We don't have opportunities and threats. It's really kind of a mix of them. Now, you need to determine the language you utilize when you are developing your key success factors for your cases. Right? The text wouldn't give you the language. When you read your case, you need to determine which of the 5 maximum critical success factors you want to highlight as most important for the CPM. So the structure is basically the same. The only difference is it makes comparisons of your company, which is Gateway, and 2 of the critical competitors. So when you're doing the cases you have for a presentation for marks, you will need to determine which companies do I want to use as the main competitors. The case doesn't tell you that. You need to determine that. So you have, in this case, market share as one of the factors, inventory system, financial position, product quality, customer loyalty, sales distribution, global expansion, and organization structure. Now, for all of these things, there's one big assumption. The big assumption is what I said before, that you came into this course having some understanding of these concepts. Right? So market share comes from marketing. Inventory systems, a bit of marketing, but accounting. So what would allow you to look at your inventory management? Right? There's a bit of marketing, but what other management discipline could help you look at your inventory system? Sorry? What other management discipline can allow you to analyze your inventory system? Anybody? Could be production operations management. What else? Perhaps to analyze your inventory system, whether it's operating good or bad. Accounting and finance. The inventory turnover ratio. Excellent. So you want to get a plus in this course. Is there no? Please correct your inventory turnover ratio. So what's the best way to analyze? And nearly all of you here would have done financial management and accounting. So what is the best way to analyze or to interpret an inventory turnover ratio? You're advising a company. What's the best way to not to calculate, the best way to interpret it? Sorry?
How many times it turns over? The highest.
Go ahead.
How many times it turns over?
How are you going to be able to advise your client about what is turning over?
Days. I said in days.
Excellent. Why?
Or you compare it with your competition. And if your competition turns over their inventory faster than you do, you will see in like if you have 20 days or 30 days.
Excellent. In days, because numbers don't tell you much. You have to interpret the numbers. You understand? People can fiddle with numbers, but if I convert the inventory turnover ratio to days, I have a better tool of analysis. So picture you're advising the client, So picture you telling your client who is a manager or marketing person, the ratio is 2.5, 3.49, but that doesn't help me in day-to-day decision making as a manager. You understand what I'm saying? Let's stop talking nonsense. What's the impact on my business? And she said, comparison. Well, right now, it takes you 35 days to turn over your inventory, but your competitor is doing it in 25. Who's better off? But we should get on numbers. I understand these numbers. Let me understand what I have to do to make a decision. So you need 10 days, them producing 5,000 units, and then it takes me 10 years longer than them to sell my 5,000 units. Somebody will get fired. You all understand, folks? So the other thing, folks, I tell students, and I told my tutorial groups, The best way to do that in this course is that whenever you leave home, to school or not, university or not, that strategy happening, you know. When you go to an automart to buy stuff, that involves strategy. Campus, I like to use campus as the best example of strategy in action. So let's look at it. So competitive rivalry, right? They talk about consumers and buyers and choices. Campus mart, kiosks, staff canteen, student canteen, the little van that they sell sweet stuff to give you diabetes. Right? Down the hill, TNT, Eddie's on Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Sorry? You have, what else? Automart, Chicken Barn. Everyone go to Black Rock, Kentucky. People selling in vans. So folks, competitive rivalry, pricing, and I'm sure students, depending on your budget, you will be comparing who would offer you the best meal. So the same thing, what strategies are they using to attract customers? What about changing tastes? What are the student preferences? What is convenient? You are studying 10, 11, 12 o'clock at night. Who is able to cater to your needs that time of the night? Is it the Automar? Is it PNT? Who is best able to cater to your needs? Who fits into your budget? Folks, that's all we're talking about here. That's just what we're talking about. So strategy is something we live every day, and I'm urging you, if you want to understand the concepts, whenever you learn a new concept, as you go to do business, think about the strategy implications. Financial position, ratio analysis, your accounting data, what have you, and those production and operations management, product quality, service quality, customer loyalty, marketing. Could you tell that guy to stop? Could you go and tell him we have a class and the door is open? Of course, there's stuff coming through there. Just tell him that he's off a bit until we're finished. Because we don't have any AC. Well, just coming through there, but wow. Sales distribution, global expansion. If you did international business, etc. Organizational structure is from OB, HR, introduction to management. Everybody sees what I'm talking about? Production capacity, production and operations management. E-commerce, that could be part of marketing now, marketing management if you did it. Customer service marketing, price competitiveness marketing, management experience, HR, introduction to management. So folks, the same principles we follow to work out importance would apply here. Same principles. You do your ranking to determine which of these critical success factors are most important, and I'm suggesting to you only use about 5 when you're preparing your cases for presentation. Only 5. You don't have to have too many. You'll be a time constraint. So you determine your weight, which helps you to determine the importance of each of these factors. Then you determine the rating, whether. So in this particular competitive profile matrix, if you had to advise your client, what would you tell your company, your client, was the number one thing they need to focus on? If you had to advise your client, what would you tell your client is the number one thing you needed, he or she needed to focus on? The market share? Why is that? Sorry? He said market share. We all agree? Look at it again. He said market share. Sorry? Why price competitiveness? Because where's the weakness? Price competitiveness is 4. Who agrees it is market share? Put your hands up, let me see. What you would get your client to focus on. Who agrees market share? Put your hands up. Who agrees price competitiveness? Put your hands up. What the company should focus on in terms, but you're advising them to improve. What would be the major thing you would advise your client that you should begin to focus on? Product quality, why product quality? What's the principle we followed, folks? What did we say when we looked at the EFP? Same principle, what did we say? Sorry? The most important. And what helps you to determine the most important factor? So which one is most important? Market share. And global expansion. 0.15 and 0.15. Don't get fooled by the ratings. It is the rates you focus on first. Because the rates tell you which factors are most important. For whom? For whom? It is the company alone. Remember, what does CPM look at? A company and its major competitors. So it means there's one significant difference between the EFE and IFE matrices and the CPM. Anybody can tell me what's the main significant difference in addition to comparing companies? Yeah, but this is a blended between the competitive factors and the strengths and weaknesses, but it's something more critical linked to what we're talking about. The weights, it deals with the weights. It's more internal, but it's something else. Say it again. Wow. Give him a hand. He's correct. He said the industry, which is the significant difference. The IFE and EFE only deal with assessment of the company's external environment for the EFE and the company's internal. But the major difference with the CPM, it has an industry rate. Because the rate not only applies to the company, but it must be relevant for all companies. So the factors you choose are the factors that are considered for the industry the most important. It's an industry rate and not a company rate. Excellent. Good stuff. And you say you don't want A+? We're on the way to it right now. That's brilliant. Keep it up. Excellent. Everybody got that? So when you are determining the weights for the CPM, the case must guide you to what might be considered the industry rate. Everything else is the same in terms of how you interpret, other than the ratings being different. So if you analyze the company now for those two most important weights, what would be your conclusion? My guy here, what would be your conclusion for the company based on market share and global expansion? But before CPM, and we're looking for gateway, yes, gateway.
I would say, I don't think they have a minor strength, but they could probably look to improve. I just trying to word this like.
You started correctly. First, you identify the company as a minor strength, which is a positive. Right? And you can then go to a recommendation. Based on this, you think the company should still go on to improve. So why would you suggest they need to move to improve further?
Because I think Dell has a lot, so I think the market, not a lot, but has majority of the market share, I would say. And they still have room to capture more of that audience that Dell is basically dominating and holding.
And how was he able to identify that you need to pay attention to Dell, that they seem to be dominating market share? The 4 rating. The 4 rating. And I like the way he interpreted it. He didn't just say a 4. Give him a hand to that. Which is what he didn't say it's just a 4 rating. He said Dell seems to have the greatest market share because it's a major strength. It's suggesting this company seems to be dominating, and he's correct in saying that you need to focus on, pay attention, that Dell seems to be beating you in market share, and you need to put strategies to find out how you can capture the market share, which now goes into the realm of marketing, as I said. So what kind of marketing strategies would you recommend for Gateway to be able to rival and capture some of this market share from Dell? And that's where all the interaction and the integration of other concepts will come in. So which do you think is best for them to capture market share? Would it be market development? Would it be market penetration? Would it be product development? Which should it be? It's just a few strategies. And that's where we will go with the course for in terms of recommendations, etc. What should Gateway pay attention to? What should Gateway pay attention to? Sorry? What should it pay attention to? Why customer loyalty? Right. Customer loyalty. Should you pay attention to customer loyalty? Should you pay attention to customer loyalty? He said has a rate of 0.02. Sorry? He said because it has a rate of 0.02. You agree? I see. Should you pay attention to that? He said it has a rate of 0.02. Sorry? No, I'm talking about the one he's saying because it has a rate of 0.02. Do you agree? Should you pay attention to that? Why? So the question I would ask you then, at 0.02, how will that impact on the business? Will it have a significant impact on the business if you ignored it? It's nearly, 0.02 is near to 0. So that could be a 4 rating. And if you calculate it, 0.08. So that is not significant to this business at all, not significant to the industry. So to pay attention to that, it's just wasting money. Remember, you're advising your client. So because the rate is so low, near to 0, in other words, not paying attention to this, based on the industry factors, right? And folks, remember, this is for the industry. There might be other industries where the issue of customer loyalty is critical, but in this industry, at this time, they're saying that customer loyalty is not really important to the company, which is what you need to pay attention to. You see. So all the 0.10s, which would be now the financial position, the sales distribution, e-commerce, customer service, those things are more important. You should pay attention. So you start with the weights and let the weights guide you to determine what might have the greatest impact or the greatest importance for the various companies. So where would you tell, if you had to advise the company, keep up this, keep doing it, the way you're doing it, which one would that be? Keep doing it, keep doing it. Which would it be? Sorry? E-commerce? I didn't hear properly. Which would you say keep doing it? Price competitiveness. You said e-commerce? What e-commerce? Sorry? Well, but the 0.15 also has a rating of 3. And the 0.15 a rating of 3. Yeah. Yeah. So the highest rates also have ratings of 3. So it means that it's still strength. So those ones with the highest, I would say, market share, also global expansion, keep doing it. But as your colleague said, you need to try to improve to catch up on with that. Yes.
When you ask, which was the focus on? You mean as in the focus to keep doing or focus as to improve?
Look, keep doing it the way you're doing it, but you can still improve. In other words, keep doing it the way you're doing it. So anything that is a minor strength is something you want to maintain and seek to improve. If anything is a minor weakness, a major weakness, you really, really need to make some substantial changes. Those are the major ones you need to change. But what I'm saying, if you have a minor strength, it is still a strength. So you don't want to drop. So keep doing it the way you're doing it, but seek to improve. Is the strategy for anything that is a 3 and up, particularly those that have the highest rate. But once it's 2 and 1, that is the danger point. You really need to change something. If a weakness means something, you need to have some major changes once it's a weakness. But don't forget, the CPM don't deal with strengths and weaknesses. The CPM deals with key success factors. Right? Yeah. Bible says begin with the highest rates. That's the best way to do a CPM. And any matrix, begin with the highest rates, which would be your market share and global expansion. Those are the ones you need to pay attention to. But they are most important. And since you see here the company is positive in terms it's a minor strength, keep at it as the way you're doing it, but you can improve because your competitor, particularly, as your colleague said, has a major strength here, and this one in particular, you will want to pay attention to. Even in global expansion, again, the competitor has a 4. So you don't want to drop from being a strength, even though it's a minor strength, you want to be able to improve. Thereafter, the second highest rates, which you need to find 1-0s, are the ones that you would pay attention to. But always start your analysis with the highest rates, right? Even more so under exam conditions, begin with the highest rates, because in case you run out of time, at least you would have dealt with the factors that are most important. Right? The other ones could come after once you dealt with those.
If they have a high weight and then a low weight, would you still leave that point of that?
That's an excellent question. What do you think? Excellent question. What do you think? Right, he said if you have... What do you think? He said if you have a high weight and a low rating, should you still focus on it? What do you think? Why? Right. It is still one of the most important, but even though it says you're not doing well, it is more so if you're not doing well. But the key thing is still the most important. Whether it's a 1 or 2, is the weight that gives you the, and it's like what you're, what the master said, the impact. So the highest rated factors are the ones that will have the greatest impact on your organization, right? And remember, these are success factors which suggest that if you focus on the major ones, you are on a better path to success. That's what we call them key success factors. And the comparison helps you to compare how you are doing in relation to the key competitors, operators in the industry. And like before with the EFE, the case has to provide you with the information about the competitive environment And the case has to speak about, competitive rivalry and where one company might be strong on the other side. So if you only come up with 3 key success factors, it is okay. There's no number I'm looking for. It's just the ones that you can defend because the case tells you these are factors that are considered important and it provides evidence of. Okay, that's your CPM or the final, and never forget your total weighted score. 3.49, 3.49 for Dell, 2.47 for Apple, and 2.83. So what did it tell you about this competitive situation here? At that time, Dell is way ahead of the competition. You have a lot of work to do to catch up with Dell. Should Apple actually be in this group here? Should Apple be in this group? Why? Why should Apple not be in this group? My friend here, I'm early in the morning, right here, the lady in the blue and black. Why should Apple not be in this group? Yes. It does? That's fair. Why should Apple not be in this group? Somebody said compare Apple and oranges. You compare Apple and Samsung the oranges. That's what. So continue. But you're correct. So why are you comparing Apple and oranges? Why? What about Apple is different? It's a marketing word I want. That's it. Apple is really a niche. Right? Apple is a niche. Apple is not a mass product. Right? So you don't compare Apple and oranges like Samsung. So it's really, the designer of the text, he put it in there really, but I wouldn't put Apple in there. It might not be a good comparison. So Apple is not into one mass market share. Apple is into a small niche making a make of money, a lot of money. All right, folks, before you get rested and go, remember what I said. 2 critical things. Intense reading continues for the next 5 or so weeks. And next week, we will look at your internal factor evaluation matrix. Please come prepared. I'm going to have a couple handouts to give to you, assuming that you would have read it. Have a good day. We'll see you at tutorial shortly. Yes.